Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Orcas MyLeague series here in NBA 2K19. So in last episode, we started up the second season here in Vancouver, and we're off to a better start than last year. We've won 20 of our first 55 games, so still not a good record by any means, but we have won more games than we did all of last season, which is a big step in the right direction. Probably because D'Angelo Russell's been definitely helping us out in terms of offense and all that sort of thing. So in this episode, we're going to get the rest of the season done. We're probably going to do as much of the off season as we can, just because I want to get a lot of these episodes pre-recorded, and obviously we want to get as much seasons as we can done before the end of like the summer and whatnot. So I want to just kind of like breeze through this to an extent, but with like still getting feedback from you guys on trades and all that. And speaking of trades, we're not going to be making a trade here during the regular season, is because I was thinking of moving away, what's his name? Tyler Cavana, because he has not been getting much court time and he's not been averaging much, but there was no trade offers I saw interesting, so we might flip him in the off season, or we might keep him around. I don't know, because he's currently replacing Jordan Bell, who's injured for 1 to 2 more weeks. But yeah, Cavana might be a guy that we eventually flip away this off season or in next season, just because he's not been that good for us and he's not getting a lot of time anyways, so it's better just to let him go. So anyways, let's get the rest of the season simulated and see how we finish up our second season here in Vancouver. Hopefully we could kind of lose a lot of games, because I want to make sure we get this top pick who looks like a stud. I think I mentioned him in last episode. He's an 83 overall point guard, and he's only 21, so this guy's going to be very good when he gets into the NBA, and he could definitely help us out. Like, I know we have currently Dennis Schroeder on point guard, but that guy could be a guy that takes over Schroeder's spot, and then we could potentially flip Schroeder or something. I don't know. Or we use Schroeder's depth or something like that. Or we might trade him, because I think I would rather get Simons into the lineup eventually too. So we win a game against the Clippers, so that's our 21st win on the season. Don't really care about the all-star stuff this season, because I don't think we really had anybody getting into any of the skills competitions and stuff. Contract extension deadline, I think we already offered all our contracts, because I don't really want to bring back Myers Leonard, but I'm not 100% sure if I will in the offseason, because he's like a solid number 2 option for terms of centers, but I don't know if we really need him, to be honest. And he hasn't been getting probably that much court time, or he's taking away court time from the youngsters. So we beat the Denver Nuggets in one of the games, and we just beat Sacramento for our second straight win. There's a 3-game winning streak, which might be the longest winning streak in our franchise history, which is kind of weird to say that. Okay, let's continue simulating. There's a loss against the Clippers by 9 points. Wow, that was a rough loss. 30-point loss by the Philadelphia 76ers, who are a team that's actually looking to win probably pretty soon. I'd assume they're doing pretty well, because I think last year they made it to the finals, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since not a while since I recorded an episode. I just can't remember if they actually went to the finals or not. But we beat the Orlando Magic, and then we beat the Utah Jazz, so we've been doing pretty decent here. We're getting closer to 30 wins, which is where I expected us to finish the season with, so not too bad. There's another 3-game winning streak, as we just beat the Spurs by 31 points. Interesting. I guess they are a bit of a rebuilding team, because they did lose a bunch of guys in terms of recency, like in real life. Like, obviously Tony Parker, I think in real life was flipped away a couple years ago, and then Ginobili's, I think he retired in this game. Obviously they lost Kawhi to Toronto in a trade and all that sort of thing. But they do have DeMar DeRozan, so that's not that bad. Okay, so we got a lot of these guys scouted so far in the draft, which is a good thing, because we obviously want to make sure we get the best pick possible if we don't get number 1. But if we get number 1 this year, that would just be a very huge thing to add to our team, because even though we have D'Angelo Russell as an 88 point guard, he could play shooting guard, or this guy that we draft could play shooting guard. And then we could have a pretty good, like maybe 380 overall players in the lineup eventually at one point, which would definitely help us out. I'm not sure how good Morgan, the prospect guy, is in terms of our system, like if he's a really good system player for us, because if you draft really well for your system, then your team eventually gets to being really good and they assimilate well. So, last two games of the season against Atlanta, when we beat Atlanta, and a game against OKC. Why did it go into real-time simulation? I didn't do that on purpose. Huh. Okay, maybe I must have. And we lose to them. So the awards for the second season, the MVP this year is Nikolai Jokic. I don't even know how to pronounce it still. If you guys can let me know how to pronounce it, I think it's Jokic. But anyway, he put up 20.8 points per game, averaging also 12.3 rebounds. Wow. So this guy was like averaging like, I don't know if that's considered a double-double every game, but still that's a lot. And then 7 assists, and yeah, he was dominant this season. Dick Scott winning the Rookie of the Year just because Lehman was not in the NBA yet, our prospect, but he averaged 8.3 points per game in Dallas. Pretty good young player there, it looks like. Dennis Schroeder, wow. Okay, we've got our first award, and I was not expecting that. So, props to whoever that guy was that commented that Schroeder is still a point guard on our team, because Dennis Schroeder was the 6th man of the year this year, averaging 18.3 points per game. So, despite us being one of the worst teams in the NBA, we had an award. So, that's pretty amazing. Good job, Dennis. Giannis takes home the Defensive Player of the Year. Colin Sexton takes home the MVP, or not MVP, the MIP, I should say. I guess the Most Improved Player. Brett Brown, the Coach of the Year, and that is it. So, yeah, I'm really happy that Dennis Schroeder took home award. I was not expecting that, to be honest, because usually when you finish near the bottom of the league, you don't take home any awards, but we got one, so that's nice. Let's see, did we get any of these things? Probably not, but you never know. Doesn't look like it. Yep, doesn't look like we got any of those things, but just okay. Okay, so let me actually just take a look at the player stats for the season and where we finished in terms of the standings. Then we're going to sim through the playoffs and see who got on top. So I didn't want to go by the entire league. I wanted to go by our team. Okay, so D'Angelo Russell was averaging 22 points per game, and he's up to a 9. So yeah, this was a huge signing for us, and hopefully he sticks around for quite a long time because he's a pretty good player. He put up less points than he did in Brooklyn last season, but he still played pretty good on a team that didn't win that much games. Dennis Schroeder obviously getting 18.3 points per game, getting that 6th man of the year, which is nice. Hollis Jefferson 10.7 points per game, Collins 9.2, Forbes 8.3. Okay, pretty decent consistency throughout our entire lineup, which is nice. And Limnan has grown to an 84 over there in Germany, so he's got 2 years left till he comes over, like 2 years starting next season, I guess I should say. In terms of rebounding, offensive rebounds per, is that offensive rebounds? I think that is right. Yeah, offensive rebounds per game, Collins is averaging 1.8, which is pretty good. Defensive rebounds per game, Hollis Jefferson averaging 5.5, so he was our best defensive player technically. Rebounds per game, Hollis Jefferson and Collins, the best 2. The best assist man was D'Angelo Russell. Steals per game, D'Angelo Russell. Blocks per game was Collins. Turnovers per game, D'Angelo Russell averaged the most, which is not a good thing, but it's okay. Field goal percentage, Jordan Bell. Nice. 614 field goal percentage. 3-point percentage, the best was D'Angelo Russell, averaging a 458. Free throw percentage, Kavana was 100%, but he probably didn't play that much. So Forbes was the best with an 855. And yeah, that's basically the stats. So not too bad of a season. Could have been better. Like we finished with 32 wins, but like that's pretty decent for a second season in the NBA, I think. Considering we're going to be getting a good prospect this year, so let's take a look at the conference. Where did we finish in terms of the Western Conference? We finished last. Okay, that's good. Just below, actually, the Minnesota Timberwolves, so we might not even get number 1. We could fall back considering Memphis and Minnesota are right near us in terms of the standings. And in the Eastern Conference, actually, the New York Knicks and the Charlotte Hornets finished worse than us. and Washington tied with us, so we might actually have like the 4th best odds to get number 1. So hopefully we move up in terms of the draft lottery. So yeah, let's simulate the playoffs now and see who comes out as the champion for the 2nd season. If I had to guess, I'm gonna say it's Houston, because Houston, like when I was doing a MyLeague, that's not this one, Houston won like 4 or 5 times straight, it seemed like. So like they could turn into a dynasty pretty easily in the first couple seasons, just because in real life they're that close as well, so to winning at least one. And Golden State and Portland in the conference finals against Boston and Atlanta. And it's going to be Boston in the finals against Portland. Okay, I don't think I see that in a couple years, but it could be wrong. And it is going to be Boston coming out on top with the 4-3 series win. Interesting. And Kyrie Irving takes home the playoff MVP. In real life, I think, isn't Boston kind of in a rebuilding state, is what I heard. I'm not 100% sure with that, because they might lose Kyrie Irving in the offseason this year. So, okay, so let's advance to the offseason now. See all the retirements and all that type of thing. So, any big retirements? Jamal Crawford retiring. He was injured as well. Carmelo Anthony retires with the Charlotte Hornets. Al Jefferson retiring with the Cavs. Tony Allen with the Wizards. Channing Frye with the Bucks. Emeka Okafor, who we had for part of one season, retiring with the Wizards. And that's pretty much all the big names that still played in the NBA. I don't even know all these guys, to be honest. Well, actually, Kyle Korver and Zaza Pachulia, I've heard of them. So those guys are also pretty big names. Some of the other guys that didn't play are as well, I think, like Jared Jack. Okay, staff retirements. Nobody for us. Jockey Vaughn, no. Oh, that's the guy that used to play actually in the NBA, isn't he? Because I was just watching like some unboxing of basketball cards, and I think that guy used to play for like the, I think it was the Spurs back in like the 90s. But yeah, he retires as the assistant coach of the Nets. Hall of Fame inductees. Carmelo Anthony is going to the Hall of Fame for 2020. Pretty good. Jersey retirements. Carmelo has his number raised by the Denver Nuggets because he played with them for 8 seasons. League meetings. There has been 2 approved ones that we could reverse if we want to. Opposing teams will enter the bonus after 3 team fouls have been committed in overtime period. I'll just leave that. The top 8 teams from each conference are seeded 1-16 for the playoffs. Oh yeah, that one's weird because then it takes into account everybody that made the playoffs, and I might be facing teams that are in the West. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, but or well, actually, teams in the East, I guess, since we're in the West. You know what? I'll keep that. Why not? I don't see why not. It gives us maybe a better chance of getting to like the next round if we're facing a bad team in the East. So, league realignment. We're still in the Northwest Division with Minnesota, Portland, Vancouver, Denver, and Utah. Draft lottery. Here we go. The big moment. Will we finish with the top overall pick? We have the 3rd best odds, but only a bit better than the Wizards for percentage. So we could fall back farthest as 6th, I think. And we could technically take home 1st if the Knicks and the Hornets fall back. So let's see what happens. Hopefully we get number 1 here at the lottery. So the Lakers will stay at number 15, which is not really a surprise because it's very hard to move up from 15 to number 1. I've seen it happen once, and it's like, yeah, there's like a 0.something% chance. And the Clippers will stay in 14th, so the 2 LA teams taking those 2 spots. The number 13th spot is going to be, is it going to stay with Detroit? Should probably. Yeah, but it's going to stay in Detroit, which is good news. Last year, apparently they selected Brian Sherman with the 13th overall pick, so they have the same spot as they finished last year. Will Sacramento stay in number 12? Yes, they will. That's good. Don't want any teams moving up yet. Apparently, it's their 14th consecutive year with a lottery selection, which is the longest serving in the NBA. The Brooklyn Nets, will they select still at 11th? Yes, they will. Good. Who's going to have the 10th overall pick? Who had first last year? I think it was Charlotte, right? That had first last year. I'm not mistaken. The Spurs are going to stay at number 10. It's the second consecutive year that the Spurs have had a lottery spot. Miami, will they stay at number 9? Yes, they will. I might actually not record the draft yet in this episode, but I am going to be pre-recording it so you guys know. Just because I have to pre-record a couple episodes and stuff like that, just in case I get busy and over the next little while. And the Chicago Bulls are staying at number 8. Final 7 picks. Hopefully it stays in order, and then hopefully for us though we jump up somehow. The Pacers, will they stay at lucky number 7? No, they won't. So they're moving up. So that means somebody has fallen back, which is not good for us in that sense, because we might finish with 4th. Will Minnesota stay number 6? Yes, they will, so that's good. We didn't fall back another spot. Number 5, will it still stay with the Wizards? Yes, it will, so we are still in the top 4, which is good. Hopefully this time around, though, we move up. Will we stay at number 4, or will we move up into the top 3? And we're moving into the top 3 as the Knicks fall back from number 1 to number 3, or number 4. So that means we have a top 3 pick in this year's draft, which is nice. Charlotte, will they stay at number 3? No, they won't. The Pacers take number 3, which means it's down to Charlotte and us again for the top 2 picks. So these 2 picks are going to be crucial for like years down the road. Will we have the first overall pick for the first time in franchise history, or will the Hornets take it away from us? We will take the number 1 pick. Yes, that's awesome. We just moved up from number 4 to number 1. So that means the Hornets have number 2 this time around, and we have number 1, which means we're definitely going to be getting that point guard that we wanted. That's an 83 overall. So this is a huge day for the Vancouver Orcas, because we're going to be getting a really good player with that. So there's the rest of the draft picks, but yeah, damn, we have number 1. That's a good way to start off the, or end off the second season almost to an extent. So yeah, we're going to be getting a pretty damn good player. Okay, so staff signing. Let's just get this stuff out of the way as well. These episodes might be longer than 20 minutes, even though the last few ones haven't. So CFOs, we don't need necessarily a hugely good CFO. Let's just offer this guy a contract, because I don't really necessarily need the best CEO, or CFO, not CEO, but we'll give this guy a 4-year contract at $660 if he wants to sign with us. Trainer, now that's more important though, because we get to send people to more camps, I think, and whatnot. So we're gonna make a bid for this Navarro guy. I think he was our guy before, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. We'll give him $350K for 4 years, and Navarro accepted, and Thorpe has accepted. So we got some staff in. Let's advance to the draft combine. So we do not want to draft Jeff Glover, apparently, because his back is bad, which that's not a good thing to have at all. Same with Everett Owens, but it's his foot. Okay. So definitely I don't want to go after those 2 guys, but I wasn't going to probably anyways. Doesn't really matter about how the draft combine thing is. The pre-draft workouts. Let's send Morgan, Pierce. Let's just send all these guys in that we can. That's all the way up to there. So let's see these stats. So Tom Morgan, wow, he's a really fast guy. 3/4 sprints take 3 seconds, I think. I don't know if that's 3 seconds or 3 minutes. The lane, he is second, but he's still definitely the best pick in this draft. His vertical is not that high up, but he's a shorter guy, right? 6'7". Yeah, that's shorter for an NBA player, I guess. Bench, he's up there actually in bench with 14. Standing foot jump or whatever, he's pretty good at that. Yeah, he's a good jumper. His 3-pointer is pretty good as well. Moving, whatever this thing is, he's pretty good. Yeah, he's pretty good all around, which makes sense considering it says that he has a Hall of Fame ceiling. So okay, so that's done, and yeah, that's gonna do it, guys, for this episode of our Orcas MyLeague. So next episode is going to be a pre-recorded episode. Get whoever we want to in the second round, and then we'll get the rest of the off season done with, and then yeah, we'll probably start up next season if it doesn't take that long. If not, we'll have the season start in the next episode after that. But anyways, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.